Evening all, and welcome to episode 39 of Kerbalism. Now, last time out we put the finishing touches to the station, we started constructing a new tug, and set out a plan to go to Minmus. So, we've been going around for a few orbits, we've still got a little while left before the tug is built. But I had noticed something. The old station, I did actually fire it up into a higher orbit. It put its apparatus up at 150k. So it would at some point encounter the new station. And it looks as if we're going to be getting that pretty soon. It may well be this sort of pass. So I might have to switch back to the station and just put it into the correct orbit so we can figure out exactly how to bring it over and eat it for rocket parts. There she is. She's 27 kilometers away and closing. I think the station's a little bit big to just bring straight in and do that. We could cause some real damage clunking into it. So maybe our new tug can help us. That's got to be ready fairly soon. Have a look see here. Our new tug is ready in 2 minutes. So, there appears to be another plan forming. And there we are. Right. We are built. So, all we have to do is finalize the build. Close the UI here, and there it is. There it is. It's not quite docked to it. It just appears slightly off of it, so that's fine. But I believe you can release it now. I'll show the UI again, and yes, here we are. We can choose how much mono propellant and how much electric charge to give it. And we can click release. We automatically switch over to it. And here it is. Here is our new tug. All built. All ready. So then, I think we should just, well, for now, we should just redock it. And then switch over to the old station and see if we can bring that in. The old station does have some actual engines on board here, so, yeah. So first and foremost, let's see. I is down, J is up. There we are. Up is up, down is down. And if I go control from here, yep, I think. Control from here. And then control from here. Okay, so not quite. I put both the docking ports on upside down. Or maybe I put the probe core on upside down. But it doesn't matter because at least they're not at some odd squiff angle which makes things go a little bit bananas. So let's just set the target here. We shall bring ourselves around. Whoa! I turned off and on the wrong things there. There we go. And let's head towards the docking port. I didn't really think the layout of the station through a little bit. I'm not sure if I've actually messed up the actual build of the station up here, because I'm sure I had that on a different side, so it wouldn't be anywhere near the solar panels. But I'm not too sure about that. I don't remember, to be honest with you. I could go back and have a look at the footage. I think that's something I should probably do. But yeah, always a bit wary when I'm working around solar panels because they are very, very easy to break. Very easy to break indeed. So turn off that. There we are. There we are. We have both our tugs attached. So let's switch over to station and see if we can get ourselves an encounter. So apparently our encounter is going to be 50 kilometers, which isn't quite good enough really. So we want to control from that one there. Oh, we don't have any point whichever way. The frame rate here is a lot better. So yeah, definitely that station is suffering from a bit of frame rate issues, causing my camera to jump around places. So sorry about that. That's obviously going to show up on the video where the camera all of a sudden just we're facing that way, and then less than a second later we're facing that way. So yeah, not really a great deal I can do about that at the moment. I think I want to just increase my orbit. I think. Move this further away, but that should give us a second encounter. Yep, there it is. When we come back down, we run our orbit higher, so we travel slower than the station. And then when we come back down and cross for the second time, it should be closer. So the station's coming up slowly, 8.5 meters a second. That's not slow, that's pretty damn quick actually. But we're not on target, so we're not going to hit it. Really wouldn't want to do that. That would cause all sorts of problems. Especially for poor old Bill, who's... I mean, Jeb and Bob are in the sort of the only escape pod that this system currently has. But Bill is... No, he's stuck making rockets. Doing what he does best. Not sure how close we're going to get. Rendezvous. Doesn't actually give me the closest point. So, right, let's just stop at about 200 meters. That seems like a good number. Oh. Right, and there we are. We are pretty much parked 200-ish meters away from the station. But we would have to get closer in order to dock them, I think. We'd have to be... I think those cables are about 75 meters in length. So we would have to fire that way to get closer. And here we are, 33 meters out. Sort of stable, I think. So, right. How do we do this? Let's detach the probe. Let's do the one down here because this one's all lonely on the end. Right, if I park that there, we will go and get Bill once again. Out you get Bill. Our brave engineer. Let go. Right, and then we open up Bill's inventory and we use G to grab that and cancel that. Hold G, grab and drag into his inventory. Not that we need to do that because we've got 6 of them already, but still, there we go. Right. We then move over to the object we want to lasso. There may be some things that Bill can fix here as well, obviously, on these stations. Whoa. You can grab onto there, right? And then we want to drag one of those out, hold H and attach, hoping nothing explodes. It doesn't. Excellent. We then also want to go down and grab the bottom to the cable. Or actually, now I think about it, if we just switch over to this and spin it round, like so. Grab connector, there we are. Alright. And then you should grab onto that again. Okay. And you should stay there. Then this little probey thing we want to control from the mini pod. And we want to go down. See, this is a bit that confuses me because that is not straight, as you can see. That's up and down. So when I'm pressing the buttons to maneuver up, for instance, up, it fires the right thruster. So it's a little disorientating. Easy to fly via the nav ball because you know that the buttons you're corresponding will correspond to how the nav ball lays out, because that orientates itself depending on the part you're controlling with. But in the actual way of doing things, it's a little confusing because it means when I'm pushing up, it's not actually up. Not very good at explaining that. I know what's going on in my head with it, and I'm not sure whether you understand what I'm saying or whether I'm just sounding like a complete idiot. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Backwards. Turn on the RCS. Please turn on the RCS. No, that's not the station. Turn on the RCS. Go backwards. Get away from those solar panels. Wow, could have that been dangerous. Okay, so now we're moving that way slightly. So we want to switch back to Bill, Bob, whoever you are, and Bill. Yes. Now Bill, who's been holding on quite nicely here. Bill will want to. You can either plug this in undocked, which means that the two craft are just tethered, but can't share resources. That means that this station would still be free, but it would still be free to float around, but it would be tethered, so it wouldn't fly away too far. Docked means they become one station. It's just like plugging in via a docking port. Now, I'm not sure what this is going to do, because it's a lot of parts added to a lot of parts. But I want to transfer resources, so let's push the button and hope for the best. And it's not done what I've just said completely. Okay, so either I'm getting myself mixed up or that's changed slightly. It used to be that when you connect them two together, they would be docked together, and then this would just stop moving around. Actually, I think it still does, but it's only when you retract the cable. So, sorry, I take that back. I've got that slightly wrong. Bob is now going to go back inside before he gets squashed. You can go back around to the actual rocket laboratory or the workshop. I say rocket laboratory because the lab itself can actually make rocket parts as well. I think the station is being pulled around. Let's get back in there. Go grab board. Right. See, now I cannot switch between these two vessels. This is actually part of this here, but it's on a tether. It's not on an actual part of the... well, it is part of the station, but it's not a rigid part of the station. That's what I'm trying to say. So, right. That means that I could transfer resources around. Okay, so let's empty that tank first, shall we? And after transferring all the monopropellant off of the old station onto the new one, as much as we could, I was having a look at some of the things that I've done with this, some of the way I've set things up with it, and realised I've made a mistake with KNCS Station. The harvester, the greenhouse, sorry, uses ammonia, and my station has no way to create ammonia. It's just not got any. It's we've got oxygen, we've got nitrogen, and we've got a carbon dioxide. But the way the old station did it was in here we had sorry, at the top here we had a waste processor which would obviously convert waste, this one here, I'm guessing waste or wastewater, one of the two, into ammonia, because right now we're at 735, and if I accelerate time for a little bit, it goes up 736, 737, and I believe that this here is going down. Yes, yep, 492. There we go. The wastewater is actually dropping. So I don't have a waste processor on the new station. That's not something I planned. I remember saying to myself I need to check all these to make sure I'm getting them right, and I've got a scrubber and pressure control, and another scrubber there, and it was basically this one needed to actually have a waste controller in it instead, which is a little annoying because there's no way I can actually now replace that. So I'm toying with the idea of keeping this central section, and maybe turning it upside down and plugging it in the bottom there, and then putting the greenhouse on the side here next to this one here. And these monopropellant tanks, I'm not sure what to do with them. They could go down the bottom, I suppose, off one of these side ones here. That way I've got the waste controller there, I've got more food supplies, I've got these supplies here, obviously it's carbon dioxide, oxygen, plenty of nitrogen left there. The side bits I'd get rid of. I'd recycle all those. Recycle this bit here. But keep the greenhouse. I think that's probably what I'm going to do. That way I haven't got to worry so much about bringing up something else with a waste recycler on it. I just don't know what to do with these monopropellant tanks. I mean, I don't need all 4 of these fuel tanks down here, but then I've got them. Although I could probably just move the monopropellant tanks over to this side and have them off the end of the solar panels. Would look a bit odd, would make the weight distribution odd. Well, I'm not sure how heavy an actual greenhouse is, so having a second one here might be okay for that. The only problem with this is that these are full-size Clampetrons and these are Clampetron Juniors, so I'm going to have to do some jiggery-pokery to convert them around. And I don't have any other spare Clampetrons up here. I only brought the one spare one for this here, so maybe I can print some. Maybe I could print a bit of scaffolding with some on there, and then yeah. Not really sure about that yet, but that's something for the future. We've got 4 days, 2 hours till our burn to Minmus, and the 63-minute burn is wrong because obviously that's for the whole station, not just for the little craft here. So yeah, we've got time to make some decisions. So I've had a good think about this. I've had a look around at what's where and what's sort of what I'm doing, and I have an idea. The plan is these 5 monopropellant tanks on the left hand side here, I want to move to the right, but not on the end. I want to actually put them in between the main core and the solar panels, move the solar panels out. That way they're further away from the station and I haven't got to worry so much about colliding with them with things, because I can see that coming, particularly docking down here with this docking port here. That's going to cause problems, so yes, I'll move that out there. I'm then going to put the greenhouse that's on the old station on the side here. We'll have to put a new docking port on there. We will then take the sides and the back part off our little rovery thing here, our space rover, and recycle them. And then the main core from the old station is going to be put upside down in the bottom there. That seems like an idea to me. That way we've got the waste processor, we've got some extra places to for our Kerbals to live, we've also got the resources on the bottom, and I think a bit more importantly, the old station had RCS thrusters on it. The new one I've not put any on at all. I don't know why I didn't do that. There's no RCS thrusters on there other than on the tugs. So although reaction wheels are strong enough to hold it where it is, I think I would like to have down there, maybe I'll bring up some reaction thrusters and put them around the top as well, just to give us a bit more stability. It just gives us the option to reorientate things if our orbit goes a bit squiff, because it was 150 almost round, it's now 151 by 150, and I think our inclination as well went odd. Yeah, we're at 0.08 inclination. So we're not exactly across the equator anymore, we're just slightly off of it. It's not a big deal, it's only a tiny amount, but it does mean sometimes when I'm firing ships up, I look at the encounters and go, oh, that's going to be sort of 3 kilometers, and it's only because it's down there or up there. It's not, you know, it's not actually 3 kilometers away, it's just on a different plane. But yeah, some RCS thrusters I think would help with that. So in order to detach the tanks, detach the solar panels, put the tanks in there, put the solar panels back on the end, I'm going to need both tugs, which means we're going to have to unclip this and somehow do something to make sure this doesn't float away. I'm thinking I could attach it via this docking port here to the bottom of there. That would kind of work. Or I could just possibly leave it there. I mean, it's got pretty good RCS on it, so I think I'll leave it where it is. So, right. Bill, you're getting out again, and you're going to detach this craft, and then we're going to do lots of tug work once again. And once again, our brave engineer Bill Kerbal steps out of the rocket laboratory, or the rocket workshop I should say, and heads over to the old station, one docket from the new one. That leaves our tugs clear, allowing them to be able to move our monopropellant tanks over to the other side. Lets us clear the way of the solar panels, putting them just out of reach, and lets the monopropellant tanks be put exactly where we need them to be. And then it's a simple case of reattaching the solar panels onto the end. I chose to stand them up a bit more than have them laid down now they're further away, probably give them a bit more sunlight. Redocking them, and the station has power once again. That allows us to start taking apart the old station. Starting with the greenhouse, I decided to dock it onto the small docking adapter that's just underneath the recycler. Seems like a good place to put it just for the time being until we can modify it to allow it to fit onto the larger adapters. And then we can move on to recycling the old station, starting with the solar array. Quite simply, place it near the recycler, press the button, and it eats it quite happily. However, that's not the case with the space rover thing. Put it in the recycler, and for some reason, the cockpit and the connecting frame get recycled, but nothing else does, leaving all these bits of debris floating around that I can't really do a great deal with at the moment. I don't have any way to sort of grab them and drag them near them. I could do it with the winches, but, well, to be honest with you, I think we'll just let them go. That just leaves the main core remaining. I send over one of the probes to attach to it because although Bill is inside the cupola there, he's not a pilot. He doesn't have any way to use SAS, and we're going to need stability. Because it's a long and somewhat fiddly process to get all the way down around the bottom of the station, in between the fins of these rather large and precarious tanks. Slowly slot up in between them without bashing into the sides far too much, because every time I do, the station rocks and, well, I started to feel a bit like a pinball and didn't really want that going on. Poor old Bill must be shaken to death. But finally, we get up there, get into position, and eventually get a dock. And there you have it. The old station has been merged with the new one. The bits we didn't want have been recycled, mostly. And the only thing left to do is adapt that old greenhouse with a larger docking port, so we can stick it on the end of our science lab there and have the greenhouses on one side and our monopropellant on the other. Quite happy with that. We still do have our little mission to Minmus. I have noticed that our maneuver node disappeared, but that's quite easy to replace. The other thing I want to have a look at is the radio telescope mission that we have. Might do that whilst we're waiting for the 6 days for Minmus to come along, because that'll give us a bit more fun, a bit more science, and well, kill some time. But of course that's going to have to wait until the next episode. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this one, and I hope to see you again next time. And until then, as always, have fun.